Let's talk about, though, what everybody wants to hear. Of course, it's exciting to hear that, there's a new event being tested. We're going to have beautiful weather, this amazing course, these 38 steps behind us that you're seeing the sky running up right now. Let's get into our dark horses and our favorites. Why not?
What do you want to start with, Jess?
Let's work our way. We are going to be seeing all the races. So junior men, junior women, U23 women, U23 men. So let's just jump in and start with our junior men and junior women.
Yeah, it's David Heddings is a hands down favorite in the junior men, and I think that, like you said, he's been dominant all year. But the Americans and the Canadians the North Americans are sending really big squads, and they have a lot of guys and gals who've been did the European, the Kersh period. They did a bunch of racing. There's opportunities for these North American favorites to really put together a big ride.
Yeah, and before we even get into all of our favorites, we can't skip the conversation that North Americans are having such a great representation this year at Worlds. We're looking at 38 riders from the United States that are going to be represented across all 6 races, and 26 Canadians also represented across all 6 races. And then unfortunately, we heard the retirement of Stephen Hyde. He will not be participating in the World Championships, but he's actually going to be coaching the United States team, Team USA. And so, good to see him out here in the course and being part of Worlds, as well as giving back to the community that he's been such a big part of for the last 10 years.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to a great career from everyone at FloBikes to Stephen Hyde. Been absolutely a pleasure to watch you race, to commentate on your races, to watch your career, and what a great asset for the U.S. national team to have Stephen as a performance coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to those junior men, though. You can't get out of this conversation. Okay, so you got your junior men. Speaking of Americans, I saw Bridget Tooley's brother, Beckett Tooley, is on the start list. I'm not really sure if he's going to be racing. He hasn't really been doing a lot of cyclocross this year. But good to see him on the start list. We hope that he can make it out. It's always great to follow fellow Texans as well as, the younger Americans as they move through the ranks. Junior women, what are we looking at? I know who mine is.
You have a gold star favorite in Zoe Baxter. She's been absolutely dominant in the junior women's race this year. It's hard to even postulate that it's her race to lose in a lot of ways. Once again, the U.S. and the Canadian squads bring in a lot of riders to try to put together something, but Zoe Baxter has been absolutely dominant this year in the junior women's racing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with her as well. She's been unstoppable, really putting on a cyclocross clinic to these younger riders. And then, of course, as she'll be moving forward to the U23, I'm just going to say right now, her background in road and all of her training up to this point has really put her in a great position to be the favorite for the race this upcoming weekend. But yeah, let's move right on into those U23 men and women. This is where it gets exciting. U23 men, I kind of talked off camera. It might be a little bit hard to pick one. I'm going to have to say that I have a dark horse / favorite in Scott Bunsen, who we've been following this entire season. He is a hardworking, top collegiate athlete, putting on a bunch of great performances actually at national championships, had an opportunity to do some training in Europe, is with the Team USA, is back here in the United States. Very excited to see him race. Who were you saying that you were interested in?
One of the big stories is Thibaut Nice is going to be here. He had a very heavy fall in a race leading into Hyde. He was unsure of his participation. They gave him a deadline to decide if he was healthy enough to race. He decided he's going to make it. He did allude to that he should not be considered a favorite, but Thibaut Nice will be towing the start line. And then also there's Pim Ronhaar, who's still stinging from just missing out on winning the overall World Cup for under 23. He's got to be super motivated to come in here.
Wow, that's going to be a great race. But that keeps us moving out towards even, in my opinion, the more exciting of the two races, which is that U23 women's race. We've already seen the athletes that are going to be top step for this race racing with the elite women at the World Cup level. You've got a preview that should have some of the more senior members in the elite women shaking in their boots. You've got every one of my top 3 favorites has stood on a World Cup podium this year. Fem Van Empel even won one. Fem Van Empel, Sharon Van Anrooy, and it's just crazy. And Puck Peters all in the mix, and they've been knocking chunks out of each other all year.
and they've all gotten the best of each other at some point. But like, this is a preview for generations of elite women's racing to come, and it's probably gonna be one of the most exciting races of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't tell me that in another year the elite women are going to be like, okay, they had their separate race and they had their opportunity to throw on that rainbow jersey as a U23 woman. That being said, who's your pick? You just named off the top 3 women.
I think after watching these athletes race against each other all season long, I'm going to go with Fem Van Empel because she just showed so much maturity and so much poise in these desperate last lap battles when it was all on the line. It just came down to who could make the least mistakes or find that one last effort. Fem Van Empel has showed incredible maturity and poise, so I'm going to pick her as my favorite for the Under-23 Women's World Championship.
I love it. I'm going to have to go with Puck Peters because she has really put on a clinic this year and racing constantly towards the top of the field in the elite women's race. Perfect example in Hyde this past weekend, towards the end of the race. In fact, the last lap, I believe, we see all of our race leaders out there jumping off their bikes over the barriers. Puck Peters is still constantly riding, bunny hopping over those barriers. She's the only one, and she's making up that time. So I see her bringing skills to the elite women's races as well as like to the championship race that other racers aren't bringing. So I'm very much going to say she's my pick for our U23 women.
Excellent pick.
Yeah. Elite men, elite women. Let's just get right in. We'll start with those elite men.
Man, after I really thought I was going to have a better idea after watching Hyde, and Hyde for me was completely inconclusive. Other than our top favorites are absolutely racing neck and neck. Like we were talking about, Elliot Isbert doesn't seem to be getting tired. He has faltered a couple times this year. Showed absolute class in Hyde. Pidcock was at a training camp with Ineos. Was he a little tired? Is he going to bring some of that form we saw a little bit earlier in the season when he was absolutely dominant, when he rode away from these guys? Lars van der Haar, resurgent all year, and he just really showed great form at Hyde. And then you have Michael Van Tornout, who's just always there, an experienced campaigner. Maybe you can use some of that with the international travel to pull something out here. But if you've got to pick, it's hard, Jess. I'm going to say Tom Pidcock because of what I've seen from, I'm assuming he's planned really well. And for my dark horse and a pick from the heart, it's got to be Lars van der Haar. So experienced, and maybe that'll help him with the international travel. Been really resurgent this year, showed great form, showed really a lot of sharpness at Hyde, even though he had a big crash that kind of took him off the lead group. Came back to it, was sprinting for the win. So that's going to be my dark horse pick. What about you, Jess?
I'm going to have to kind of reverse what you said. And I think for my dark horse, I'm going to have to actually go with Tom Pidcock. I didn't know that he had been training with Ineos, but that absolutely makes sense that he would be there with the team. But I mean, he's getting those road legs under him, and we're still in cross season, the very tail end of it. But this is showing that he's going to be not only on top form, but he's also getting in that additional training that a lot of these other guys, they've just been like cross. And here we go. He's starting to build up that road engine. So there's no telling. The guy's got some legs. And, I'm very much excited to see him put on an amazing performance this weekend. But let's just get into the favorite for me. I'm going to have to go with someone that from day one, the first race in Waterloo at the World Cup in October, he was a diesel engine. I interviewed him after the race and the guy's like 5'5", 5'6". He's a tiny guy. And I was like, this is the diesel engine. And it's going to have to be Ellie Reed. I mean, for my favorite, he's been consistent through the season, building an upward trajectory that has shown that he has not only the talent, the drive, the desire, and he can stand up against the wilds, it doesn't matter. Like, he's going to be unstoppable, and I'm going to put him as my favorite for this year.
And the last race that we have to talk about is the elite women's race. And Jess, it's been such a year. There's been so many good battles. In fact, there's going to be a little bit less because we're taking these 3 under-23 champions away. And we also lost Denise Betsema and Anna Marie Wurst due to COVID protocols and sickness. But we still have the 2 riders that battled here in October, Marianne Vos and Lucinda Brand. They've been going at it. Vos got the upper hand in Hyde, but I'm looking forward to another great battle. And then me personally just really, really looking to a couple of North American riders who have put themselves on the podium consistently this year in Magalyn Rochette and our own Clara Honsinger, who was 3rd place at the World Cup here in a little bit heavier, muddier track, but she has shown great poise and coming back from subpar starts this year. She's done well on this track. We have a couple of great North American contenders to stand on the podium. And if I have to make a pick, I'm going to go with Mariana Voss taking the championship over Lucinda Brand.
Wow. I like that. You know, for me, it's going to look a little bit different. Someone that you did mention that has been putting on a great show, who is a strong contender, proven that she can get on the World Cup podium, Magalyn Rochette. She is someone that, you know, when the season started, not necessarily off my radar. It wasn't somebody that I was saying, oh, you know, do I see her in the top 10? Maybe not, but she's proven through the season that she is belonging up there and that she belongs to be on that top step, at least on that podium. Dark horses, though, last but not least, and I think off camera we might have alluded that we might have the same person, but maybe on the count of 3 we'll say the name and see if it's the same person. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Clara Hunziker. Of course. Yeah, so Clara, I mean, this is her race to really prove. You know, she's been in Europe training, racing. You know, she's gotten on the podium again at the World Cup level. She did 3rd place here when we were here in October. She obviously trains better and races better in the mud. We're not going to have those conditions this upcoming weekend. However, she's going to have that home turf advantage and the support of all the Americans that are here for her.
Yeah, I think that the home court advantage for both Magali and for Clara is going to be huge. I think they're going to have this crowd absolutely behind them. I think it's going to give them a little bit of a boost. We just got to wait till race day. It's going to be all the races I think are going to be really stellar, and it's going to be a super fun weekend here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we thank all of our cross fans that have followed us through the entire season, starting back in October. And you know, we're here. We're finally here. We're going to have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the races.